Hey everybody, this is Geog7 with update 0.5 for the Livestream Production Manager. Now, you may notice the video quality and the audio quality is a little bit different. This is because I'm using LPM on my laptop. And this is, the release environment, the production environment where I actually use the application to stream tournaments with. And I wanted to show this off is because I'm currently running Livestream Production Manager without Visual Studio. This is because I have it running in IIS, Internet Information Services by Microsoft. So I'm running Livestream Production Manager on a local web server. So I don't need Visual Studio. I don't have that, CPU overhead of running Visual Studio along with the application. Another thing I wanted to show off is that this laptop has a 1920 by 1080 screen or 1080p. Livestream Production Manager can also now, like 99% of the time, be used on a small window like this. This is about equivalent of 540p, and everything adjusts to the width of the window of the browser, which is also a pretty cool feature. So that is what I wanted to show off on my laptop. The rest of the video from now on will continue from my development PC. Okay, so we are now back on the development PC, as you can see by the URL here. Now let me go full screen. Okay, so before I go into the full list of changes that I want to show off, always when you just start out, before you stream a tournament, test extensively, and if you do find a bug, open up this menu with F12, the F12 key, and click on console, and hopefully you find a error message here of what happened, and let me know what you did, what the error was, and what is written right here when the error occurs. So you may notice that if I were to refresh the page, it is automatically dark theme. Now, this is because I've added settings where you can select by yourself if you want the theme on startup to be default or the dark theme. Now I'm going to set it to default theme, and we're now back. If I were to refresh, it is still the default theme again. So now I'm going back to the dark theme. That is easier on my eyes. Now let's go into the other changes. Before I click this, I want to point out that in the dark theme, this snack bar message right here is now a little bit better visible. So that's a very minor change that seems to help a lot for me personally with not the best eyesight. Okay, so I'm going to get latest, and it is now possible to, when you don't have a character selected yet or a port selected yet for a player, to submit a no character and no port option, and this hides, as you can see right here, the character image and the port image. We have a user that also streams other fighting games where it is not really necessary to have the image of the character right here or right here, and so they used a separate overlay HTML file which isn't needed anymore. You can just select no character, no port for both of these, and it'll work just like other options, just an invisible image. Okay, so let me submit these. Another thing that is really cool is where I have a button to increase or decrease the score of a player or a team or a squad. So, and that works perfectly fine. It's a lot faster than selecting, typing, and then submitting. Let's see. There's also something I'm really excited for, a skin picker. So different characters have different skins, and so you can pick the specific skin that the player is using right now. So let's say my competitors are using this skin of Fox and this skin of Little Mac. I can show that off in the overlay right now. So let me reset these. Okay, this works for singles and doubles of Smash Ultimate and Smash Wii U right now. Let's see. Okay. You remember the README or the info about the default overlay, what you can adjust to it, and how to use it in OBS. I have changed the mechanic in the background, how this works, to use JSON instead of plain HTML. This is more flexible, and it's also now implemented for the commentators, so similar information that you may want to know if you're going to make custom overlays or something else. Let's see, again, I have already discussed that Livestream Production Manager is now optimized for using in IIS, so you don't need Visual Studio when using it. Okay, there's a new, I need to select Cruise or Squat Strike right here. Actually, Squat Strike is better for this. So I noticed that these images wouldn't fade very nicely in the past. This is because they use a certain animation. It's a little bit complicated, but this has been improved. So I'm going to click Update and scroll down quickly. Now these images use a special fade instead of a regular opacity fade that wouldn't work in the past. So let's see, switch. No, that just goes way too fast for me. But they now have a nicer adjusted fade, which is not as nice as the opacity fade, but it is nicer than the image flashing to a new image. Okay, so these panel headings were always a little bit misaligned. If you were to have a lot of buttons right here, it would be somewhere around here. These are now nicely centered. Let's see. I've also added a new link to the overlay. Now this was already here in the past, but now you can click on it to open the overlay in another browser tab. So this is the tab that I manage the overlays, and right here I opened the overlay, and I can copy paste this path quickly into OBS when adding a source. I think that's a nice thing to have. Let's see, full screen. Okay. And the rest of the changes are actually more so improvements to what happens in the background. So it's performance optimization or nicer code to look at, more easy to read, more easy to edit, and that is actually things that I don't have time to show right now. But let's just say a lot of things have been optimized. It is now much nicer, much easier to use a Livestream Production Manager without IIS or without Visual Studio, but with IIS you only need one click of a button and one change of code to use it right there. For the full list of changes, go right here to the version information. You can read all about it, and if you're more interested in the project, be sure to click right here. This will open a Discord invite link, and you can join our Discord server where you can just have regular chats. You can follow the development updates. I try to update everyone daily on what I've been doing, what I've been working on that day, and you can show off your streams, your YouTube videos, your custom overlays. You can report bugs to me directly without having to contact on Twitter or on the YouTube video comments. And that is really it. That is everything I wanted to talk about for Livestream Production Manager. A lot of this is work that happens in the background. One thing is that the error monitor now works a lot better. The error reporting in the console and in this monitor is now a lot nicer, a lot more informative. But that's really it. This has been Guyok7 with the Livestream Production Manager version 0.5, and I hope to see you next time for version 0.6.